people and by the people.
We started one of our very first community programs, which was free breakfast for school children, which merged education and nutrition together. So we started feeding like hundreds and hundreds of kids in the geographical area that we lived in. We call ourselves the People's Army, and we serve the people body and soul. We just don't say that, we actually implement programs to serve people. The breakfast program fed kids in the morning before they attended school, and we found out that by leafleting in the community and going door to door, this was a big problem. So we implemented this small program which took off like fire. How the program actually worked is that the mom and pop stores in the community would donate whatever they could. Say if you owned a store, a small store, and you couldn't donate that much, maybe you could donate a gallon of milk or 2 loaves of bread and a dozen of eggs a week. But if we go to like 10, 11 stores and they can do the same thing, we can feed something like 70, 80 kids per week on that. We had no other money except for money that people donated us through the community. Other programs we had was a SAFE program. This is a program that was brought to us by senior citizens. Back in those days, senior citizens would get their retirement money, their Social Security, or whatever they have at the first of the month. They were beaten, their purses snatched, the money taken away from them. So we started sending vans and cars to the senior satellite homes and picking them up around the first of the month and taking them to cash their checks and to go shopping and bringing them back safely. Now, this program was very successful. The seniors in the community really loved it, and it caught on throughout the country, as well as our free busing program to prisons. In our community, the unemployment, the economic situation is so bad that a lot of people take chances or do things they normally wouldn't do to raise money, and they become victims and they go to jail and they're sent away to prison. Say you're in Oakland. That don't mean that you're going to be in jail in Oakland. They might ship you across the state or 100 miles away, and a lot of times people don't have transportation to get to those locations. So as an effort to keep the family together, we provided a free busing program where people can get on this bus. Say we were going to San Quentin that particular week, people could get on that bus and ride, and all we would do is ask for donations. We had 10 free medical clinics across the country. We have 2 that's still open to this very day after 35 years. We had one in Seattle, Washington, and one in Portland, Oregon. They were manned by the community, and they stayed open all this time, and they're still serving the community right to this very day. We have something like 35 different programs that we helped establish. We had a free shoe program for people who didn't have shoes. We had free clothing programs for people who didn't have clothes. We had a free food program. Say your money ran short or something happened and you needed food before your payday came, you can call the Panthers up. We would make bags of groceries for you, and we would take them to you if necessary. We had liberation schools, alternative programs, charter schools, teaching people about Afro-American history. In 1973, we opened up a full-fledged school from 1st grade to 9th grade, and we had something like 200 kids attended every day. Our social programs were like a guideline of things that could be done, because we didn't get money from foundations. We didn't get money from the government to start these programs. These programs were started with tender love and care for the community, and by people seeing that, they participated in that. They would come by our office and maybe give us $5. So people can look into the past and say, this is what the Panthers did. They did it without any support. We can do this. Even though resources have been cut off, unemployment is going to be rampant or is rampant, there are still things that can be done in the community. It's an example of what can be done when people unify on a grassroots level to achieve their goals. A lot of people think of the Black Panther Party as mainly a self-defense organization. We believed in self-defense, but in our 10-point program, that was number 7 on the list. There was other things that came before that, like decent housing, decent education, full employment, those type of things. But because of the situation of the police, they were shooting and killing black people every weekend, and they would say it was justifiable homicide or we thought he had a gun. So that became a very viable program for us to start with. Huey Newton was a law student, and they found that we can carry guns openly if they wasn't loaded. So they started patrolling the community and following the police around, making sure that black people received their rights and wasn't brutalized. We only did that for a couple years, like from 1968 to 69. Other than that, we were all social programs, in the community. The traditional thing is to attack the leadership. So, for one, they had Huey Newton in jail. Two, they had Bobby Seale going to jail for different charges. Like in Chicago in 1968, they said he was in conspiracy to stop the Democratic Convention. Then later on, they had him on murder charges up in New Haven. Then the Eldridge Cleaver, they were trying to railroad him. But see, in the Black Panther Party, we're taught to organize. We are taught that one Panther equals 100 enemy. The leadership provides guidance, but any Panther can organize. You can drop us anywhere and we can organize. So they were afraid of a threat like that. So what they started doing is wholesale attacking our offices, arresting large amounts of Panthers, and sending us to court. But I want to point out to you, they lost every one of those cases. They lost the Huey Newton case. They lost the Bobby Seale case. They lost the Chicago case. The New York 21 they lost. The New Haven 18 they lost. But as a result, we spent a lot of time and energy trying to get those people out of jail. So what they started doing was murdering party members. Fred Hampton, Mark Clark in Chicago. Our Prentice Bunchy Carter and John Huggins in L.A. By 1971, there was about 25 members of the Black Panther Party murdered and killed in the line of duty. That was a kind of a way to intimidate us, but you can't intimidate us because we're here to serve the people.
That activists understand that revolution is a process, not a conclusion, and that our Black Panther Party did not make the revolution. We only helped promote the process. So it's not that the revolution has stopped, and in fact, it is always moving, it's always happening. So ours was an unfinished agenda.
Overthrow the government, whoever is running it. I mean, he's a Democrat. It's not going to be a panacea. If it was going to make a significant change, they wouldn't have given him all those millions of dollars to fight with. But it's good. I mean, for America to elect a black man president of the United States, it's a whole different thing. They never thought of that.
It is a great achievement coming from the fact that America is so racist, It is a great personal achievement, because there's so many black people who's been hung, railroaded to jail, and for a person who has an Afro-American background to be elected as a president, that says a lot. It says there's an opportunity there.
I don't think Obama, no other person, an individual, can deliver what is needed. I think that is the masses of the people that have been engaged. If they demand the kind of accountability that we're talking about now, then yes, it is possible. But it will only happen if the masses of the people make their demands felt.
We might not have an office that says Black Panther Party, but we have members who are faithful to the ideology of the party, still doing work in the community.
I will guarantee you that if all these millions of people take to the streets for the long haul, as we did in the 60s, then you'll see change being a march being very abruptly.
Let's get it on. Let's get it